Welcome back to Smart Income Masters, where, as always, we help you make money smarter. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a guide that one of you actually sent to us.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And it really stood out because it doesn't just offer, like, generic online money-making tips. You know what I mean?
Right.
This comes from someone who had, like, a really successful business offline,
Okay.
but then the internet, like, totally disrupted their whole industry.
Wow.
And they had to basically rebuild everything from scratch using online strategies.
So they've seen both sides of the coin.
Exactly. And their whole framework is about this, like, no BS approach to understanding the online wealth journey.
I like it.
Yeah, they break it down into these really clear stages and offer some pretty actionable insights.
Right.
So today we're going to, like, dissect these stages, figure out the core takeaways,
Yeah.
help you figure out, like, where you might be on this whole journey,
Okay.
and what steps you could actually consider taking next.
Sounds good.
Now, before we get started, if you're serious about making money smarter, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future deep dives.
All right. So this guide is interesting right off the bat because it's coming from someone with actual experience.
Yeah.
This isn't just some theory they're throwing out there. They lived through some pretty big business shifts,
Right.
both offline and online. So it gives their whole framework this kind of grounded practicality.
Okay, so let's dive right in. Stage one is all about getting started or not getting started, as it turns out. Because get this, 55% of people never even launch a side hustle online.
55%. That's a huge number.
I know, it's crazy, right?
So what's holding them back?
Well, the guide points to the overwhelming nature of the online world as like a major barrier.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's like you're constantly bombarded with all these different methods,
Right.
and there's so much hype and conflicting information.
Absolutely. It's like analysis paralysis.
Yeah, exactly. People get stuck trying to find that like perfect starting point that they never actually take any action.
It's like being given 1,000 ingredients, but no recipe.
Right. And the guide really emphasizes this idea that you need to choose an approach
Okay.
that aligns with your skills, your budget, your lifestyle.
Makes sense.
So, for example, if you already have marketable skills like video editing, graphic design, coding,
Mm-hmm.
the guide suggests offering those as services directly.
Right. It's like leveraging your existing strengths.
Exactly. You're capitalizing on a foundation you've already built.
Yeah. Less learning curve, quicker implementation.
Now, what about people who might not have those specific technical skills? Or maybe they just don't want to work directly with clients.
Oh, yeah.
The guide introduces this idea of product-based businesses specifically selling products online without holding any inventory.
Ah, interesting. So like drop shipping.
Kinda, it's a similar concept, but this model addresses a lot of the concerns that beginners have.
Like what?
Well, first of all, it lowers the financial risk because you're not buying a ton of inventory up front. And second, it simplifies the whole operation because you don't have to worry about storing and shipping products.
Okay. So you can focus on marketing and sales.
Exactly. It's all about streamlining the process so you can test the waters without making a huge commitment.
That makes sense.
All right, so let's move on to stage two, which the guide calls the failing side hustle trap.
Ooh, that sounds a little ominous.
This is where we find like 28% of people who are earning less than $50 a month online.
Less than $50. That's barely anything.
I know, and the guide's explanation for this is pretty direct, maybe even a little harsh for some.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they basically say that in many cases, the problem isn't the side hustle itself. It's a lack of consistent effort.
Ooh. I can see how that would rub some people the wrong way.
Yeah, but then they introduce this idea of shiny object syndrome, which is a really insightful point.
So like jumping from one thing to the next.
Exactly. It's that constant allure of the next promising method.
Right. 1 week, it's all about dropshipping. Then it's NFTs. Then it's something else.
It's exhausting just thinking about it.
It is. And it's so inefficient because each of these approaches, if you actually focus and put in the work,
Yeah.
could potentially work.
Right.
But when you're constantly switching, you never build any real momentum or master any one strategy.
The guide uses this analogy of miners abandoning their digging right before they hit a vein of gold.
Perfect
It
analogy.
really illustrates that wasted effort.
And there's the psychological element too.
Yeah.
The novelty of a new idea is exciting.
Ah.
That dopamine rush makes you forget about the hard work that's actually required.
So the advice for this stage is pretty clear.
What is it?
Pick a method and stick with it.
Simple but effective.
And they emphasize choosing something easy to start with,
Okay.
but that also has the potential to scale.
Gotcha.
And interestingly, they really advocate for e-commerce.
How about commerce?
Yeah, they draw on the creator's own experience and suggest this specific simplified approach.
I'm intrigued.
So they're talking about using these AI-powered store builders.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it really lowers the technical barriers that used to prevent people from getting started.
So it's like democratizing the process of setting up an online store.
Exactly. And the guide mentions that you can launch these automated stores really quickly, potentially even without any upfront costs.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
And then it integrates seamlessly with services that handle order fulfillment so you don't have to deal with the physical products at all.
That takes a lot of the hassle out of it.
Right, so then your main focus becomes driving traffic to your store.
And converting that traffic into sales.
Exactly. The guide even gives an example of how a small conversion rate from a viral video can lead to significant revenue.
Interesting.
So the key takeaway for escaping the failing stage seems to be this: embrace a simple automated model and stick with it.
Automation for the win.
Right. It frees you up to concentrate on those core elements of success, attracting customers and optimizing your sales.
All right, so now we're on to stage 3, which is all about running a successful side hustle.
Yeah. And this is where we find the top 16% of people, the ones who are making more than $50 a month online.
All right, so they're finally starting to see some real results.
Yeah, but even within this group, there's a big difference between those who are just getting by and those who are truly thriving.
So what separates them?
Well, the guide breaks it down into 4 key steps.
Let's hear them.
Step 1 is niche down.
Niche down. Okay.
This is all about getting super specific with your target audience.
Why is that so important?
Because trying to appeal to everyone means you end up resonating with no one.
Makes sense.
The guide says you need to develop a detailed profile of your ideal customer.
So their age, their interests, their pain points, all that.
Exactly. And then you tailor your products and your marketing to that specific niche.
It's like that saying, if you speak to everyone, you speak to no one.
Right. It's much more effective to have a focused message.
Okay, what's step 2?
Step 2 is all about consistency.
Consistency. I feel like I'm hearing that a lot today.
Yeah, it's a recurring theme for a reason. Those small daily actions that you take add up over time.
So more important than those occasional bursts of effort.
Exactly. It's like the tortoise and the hare.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly. And in this context, we're talking about things like posting engaging content about your products, responding to comments and questions, building a community, and constantly testing different product descriptions and images to see what converts best.
So it's all about staying active and refining your approach.
Precisely.
All right, what about step 3?
Step 3 is show, don't tell.
Show, don't tell. I like that.
Yeah, it's about going beyond just listing the features of your product.
Right. You need to actually demonstrate the benefits.
Exactly. How does it solve a problem for the customer?
Give me an example.
The guide uses the example of custom gaming controllers.
Okay.
So instead of just saying, our controller has programmable buttons, you show how those buttons give the gamer a competitive advantage.
Like faster reaction times more complex moves.
Right. You need to highlight the tangible improvement in their gaming experience.
And maybe compare it to a standard controller to show the added value.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
All right. And then the 4th key step to running a successful side hustle is building trust through social proof.
Social proof is especially important for new businesses.
Totally. People need to see that others are buying and enjoying your products.
So how do you do that?
The guide recommends a few tactics. One is creating authentic unboxing videos of your own product.
Okay, so people can see the quality firsthand.
Exactly. Another is getting initial reviews from friends or family.
To build that initial credibility.
And then featuring real customers using your products in your marketing materials.
Instead of just using generic stock photos.
Right. It's all about providing that reassurance and validation.
Okay, so we've covered the initial stages and the path to a successful side hustle. Now, where do we go from there?
Now we arrive at the final stage, which is running an elite side hustle.
Elite side hustle sounds impressive.
It is, and the guide suggests that less than 1% of people actually reach this level.
Wow, so what sets them apart?
The defining characteristic is strategic reinvestment of profits.
Reinvesting profits.
Interesting. It's a shift in mindset. Instead of seeing those early profits as personal income, you start to view them as fuel for growth.
I see. So it's like that saying, it takes money to make money.
Exactly. And the guide points out that unlike investing in the stock market,
Mm-hmm.
reinvesting in your own business gives you a lot more control.
Right. You can directly impact its trajectory.
Exactly. And they outline three key areas for reinvestment.
Okay. I'm listening.
The first is upgrading your tools.
Upgrading tools. So, like, what kind of tools are we talking about?
As your business grows, you'll probably start to encounter bottlenecks
Right.
and repetitive tasks that eat up your time.
Yeah.
So investing in tools that automate or streamline those processes can be a game changer.
So things like marketing automation, software, customer service platforms,
Yeah.
maybe even professional design tools.
Exactly. Anything that can help you scale more efficiently.
Okay, what's the second area?
The second area is getting more customers.
Makes sense. You have a profitable model. Now you want to expand its reach.
Precisely, the guide recommends reinvesting profits into targeted marketing efforts.
So like paid advertising, content testing, influencer collaborations.
Exactly. It's about being proactive and seeking out growth opportunities.
Instead of just waiting for customers to come to you.
Right.
And the third area of reinvestment,
The third area, which might surprise some people, is outsourcing smaller tasks.
outsourcing even at an early stage.
Yeah, the guide makes a really good point here. Even if you're still relatively new to this,
Okay.
you should start thinking about what tasks you can outsource.
So you can free up your time to focus on more important things.
Exactly. Things that directly drive revenue and growth.
So like graphic design, video editing, administrative tasks.
Right. Things that other people can do more efficiently.
And by outsourcing those things, you can focus on your core strengths.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the overarching principle for reaching that elite level is to see your profits as capital for growth.
It's not just about taking money out of the business. It's about reinvesting it to make it even bigger.
Right. It's about building a self-sustaining engine that takes you beyond just having a successful side hustle.
And allows you to create a truly significant and scalable online business.
Exactly. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into this insightful guide on navigating the online wealth journey. We've covered a lot of ground from those initial hurdles to the strategies used by the top 1%. And the key takeaways are clear, consistent effort,
Yep.
understanding your audience,
Definitely.
demonstrating value, building trust, and strategically reinvesting your profits.
All crucial no matter where you are on your journey.
This guide offers a lot to think about as you navigate the online world and work towards building a sustainable income stream. And we hope this deep dive has provided you with some clarity and actionable insights. If you're ready to take your online income to the next level, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future explorations. Thanks for joining us on Smart Income Masters, and remember, make money smarter.